The last two things that we have to do inside of this component right here is to make sure that the user has a button to press to delete the post. And we also need to make sure that there's a button that they can click to navigate back to the big list of posts. So maybe something up top that just says, hey, take me back to the index, and something that says, I want to delete this post. So we've definitely taken care of that navigation side of things before by using the link tag from React Router. So that's definitely an easy one. Let's start off with that. At the top of our file, we'll import the link tag from React Router DOM. So import link from React Router DOM. Then inside of our render function, we'll place a link tag. We'll tell it to render the user, or redirect the user back to the root route of our application. And we'll give it the text of something like back to index. Now I'm not going to put a class name of button on this one because I'm okay with it just being rendered as plain text. But if you want to, you could definitely put on a class name of BTN and BTN primary to make this look like a nice button. So let's refresh in the browser now. And we get the nice back to index link up here. Okay, so that's definitely working pretty well on that side of things. Now, I know that I said that we'll also take care of delete inside this section, but it did just occur to me that if we go back to the index page, we don't really have the ability to navigate back to an individual post. So maybe before we take care of any of that deletion stuff, let's make sure that a user has the ability to navigate from clicking right here and going to the show page for each particular post. So to take care of that, we're going to use the link tag again inside of our post index component. Back inside of our code editor, I'll find the post index component. We've already imported the link tag in here up at the top. So all we really need to do is wrap the post title inside of the render post function with another link tag. So let's say link. I'm going to give myself a little bit of space to work with here. And we'll send the user to. Now this is going to be a little bit more complicated. In the past, we always hard-coded the route that we wanted to send the user to, but this time around, we want to send the user to a route that includes this particular post ID. So we can form up a template string that will essentially take us to the right route. We'll place our backticks, and we'll say /posts/ and then the ID of the post. So post.id. All right, let's test this out inside the browser now. I'll refresh the document. And now everything appears to be clickable. I can go over here. Yep, looks good. Looks good. Fantastic. Now something I want you to notice really quick, if I refresh the page, now this is going to be very subtle, very hard to see. We have already fetched the entire list of posts. So we've already got everything. But our individual post show page will also attempt to refetch the post as well. So when I click on this link right here, we're going to instantly see some content on the screen, but we will also see an additional request down here to fetch that extra post or refetch the post. So we are kind of fetching every record twice inside of our application, once for the index page and then once for the show page. Now, for me personally, that is how I always construct pages. I always assume that we're working with stale data because you never know how long a user has been sitting at this index page. And so I always want to make sure that I refetch records whenever I go to the show page. If you're working on an application, however, where you are really concerned about network usage, you could always add a check inside of the post show component. So let's find post show. Here's the component did mount right here. So if you did not want to eagerly refetch posts, you could always wrap this thing with an if statement and said, if this.props.post. So if we already have a post, or if not, there we go. So if we already have a post, do not attempt to refetch it. But if we don't have one, then great, go and try to grab the thing. So I just wanted to throw that out there that is always an option to do if you really care about that side of things. With that in mind, I also want to try going to an individual post show page, and I'm going to refresh the page. And yes, perfect. We do see the post immediately appear on the screen, and we only fetch the data required for showing this particular page. Now, another very interesting thing that I want you to take note of. Right now, our post piece of state contains only the post with the ID of 79626. If I click back to index right here, you're going to see only this post appear on the screen. And then once the index request completes as well, you'll see all the other posts appear as well. So watch very carefully. So there's it's very brief, but the very top was the single post by itself. And then we saw this index route request to the API complete, and then all the other posts appeared as well. Now, of course, that only happens one time inside of our application. Once all the data has been fetched, we are refetching data, but the page is being re-rendered with the old data that we had previously anyways. So this is a very nice approach because your user instantly sees content appear on the screen, but if any of the records has updated since they last attempted to get one, once the request completes for that update, they'll see the new content appear on the screen. So very good approach, very solid approach going this way. Okay, so a little bit of a quick aside there. Let's get back on track in the next section and make sure that our users have the ability to delete a very particular post.